Hey everyone! So right now I am working on a video, which right now I'm just calling LGBT representation. And it's going to be me talking about LGBT representation and how I feel about it and what I think is the best representation. And just talking about how the representation isn't just this black and white scenario and that kind of stuff. But I thought before I get that video done, because it's probably going to be a long video, I might do 3 little mini reviews of some other MLP audio dramas. Because I'm telling you, I don't think they're all bad. There's actually some I find good, some I find okay, and then of course some I find shit. So join me today as I do 3 little mini reviews of Daughter of Discord, Princess Trixie Sparkle, and Remembrance. So if you watched my first video, then you know I hate Bride of Discord, and y'all are probably expecting me to hate the sequel, and honestly, I don't. I don't really think it's good or great, but I don't really think it's bad. Honestly, Daughter of Discord is pretty okay. I think it's the most okayest audio drama I've ever listened to. Because it does have some good elements in it that I really like. I like how they actually handle Fluttershy's and Discord's relationship in this, and not make Discord an abusive fuck. That's one of my big complaints in the first audio drama, and the fact that he's not really that abusive anymore, and really nice and supportive of Fluttershy, is actually really nice to see, honestly. I also like that little moment where Fluttershy is giving Rarity advice about her relationship. I thought that was really good, and I thought that was really nicely done. I also like Screwball and Mothball's relationship. It's actually really cute, and I generally really like it, which makes me upset we didn't really get to see too much of it, actually. Speaking of, I like Mothball's character and how they handle his character arc. I thought it was really nicely done. Him realizing that his mother lied to him his entire life, and him wanting nothing to do with her after that, and wanting to find and be around people that actually like him for who he is, and just basically disowning his own mother. That was really nice to see. I like it. I like most of the character designs and art in this series. It really improved a lot, and I just really like the designs of the characters. They're a lot more unique compared to what I usually see in next gen shit, which is just basically copy and paste. Seriously, be original with your next gen, guys. Come on. And I guess the one last thing I like is I like the ending. It just wraps up everything, and it's just very wholesome, and I just like it. My complaints about the series are just we didn't get enough of Screwball and Mothball interacting. Kind of like the Fox and the Hound, we only see a little of them interacting when they were kids, and then suddenly they go to adulthood, and suddenly out of nowhere they have this deep and rich history, and they totally like each other, guys. I felt it would have been a lot more better if we just got more scenes of Mothball and Screwball interacting before they got separated, so they can build a lot more of a genuine friendship. And I think they should have waited until they were genuinely teens to have them start genuinely falling in love and have feelings for each other. I feel like that was a little rushed, but maybe that's just me. Speaking of, I don't like the constant shipping. Mothball and Screwball's shipping, it makes sense because it's part of the story. But did all the other side characters really need love plots? I felt like it took away all the time we could have spent with Screwball and Mothball falling in love, and just these random characters you don't really get connected with. The only one I genuinely liked was the one with Aquafresh and Lightning, and even then, they don't even get together by the end of it compared to the straight counterparts. And I get the reason why they didn't get together, but imagine if they got rid of all the extra boring ships and focused on them so they could have gotten together by the end of the series. They were actually a really cute and healthy couple, honestly. I wish they would have actually been canon and were allowed to get a lot more development within the series itself. The plot at times just felt really stale and boring, because it just felt like a lot of waffling. I feel like we spend too much time with the characters just doing nothing, and then we suddenly get to adulthood and suddenly the story just kicks back in. I feel like instead of just kind of waffling and being like, look at the kids, look at them having crushes on each other, it just should have focused more on the story, and that's my main problem with the series. It focused way too much on shipping when it should have focused on the story, because shipping is not that important compared to an actual story. And if you're going to make a romance story, focus on the actual characters that are supposed to have a romance, not on the side characters no one really kind of just cares about. Finally, the apple spike shit was still fucking gross. The fact they had a child was really just fucking gross and weird. Honestly, I think Princess Trixie Sparkle is alright. Compared to a lot of audio dramas, this one is the better one. And I don't really have too much to talk about it because it's just a pretty solid series, which I only have some problems with. The one thing I will highlight that I really liked was the way the creator wrote the characters. Like, compared to a lot of audio dramas, a lot of the main six feel out of character. In this one, they don't. They feel very on character, pretty close to how the show writes them. I especially love how they write Applejack. Like, it's just really nice, and I like how the creator writes them all interacting. It just feels really nice, and it's nice to see. I think the story is really well written, and just flows a lot better, and the pacing is very well. It does kind of feel weird that the story was a lot more lighthearted in like a My Little Pony episode. Then suddenly the tone got a lot more darker and serious. Which I'm not saying that could happen. It just kind of felt weirdly out of place. Especially considering the series was so much more happy in the beginning. But it makes sense why it did go darker. The one thing I don't like about it and kind of make the story fall apart at times is Trixie's redemption. Like, it didn't really feel like she really got redeemed. Like, she did a couple of nice things, but at the same time, it still felt like she didn't really learn too much and was only going along with it just so nothing else bad would happen to her, because she had nowhere to go at that point. And the fact we're supposed to believe that just because she did some really nice things, that means she was trying to change for the better, so that makes her portrayal so much more shocking. Yeah, it really isn't that shocking. I know it wasn't really a betrayal, but like, I'm not really surprised. When I was watching the series, I was not surprised she betrayed everyone. I thought she was still in her like early redemption arc. And Twilight literally had every right not to trust Trixie and literally beat the shit out of her. I don't know why they kind of acted like Twilight was overreacting. She really didn't, and honestly, Twilight did not need to forgive Trixie at all, especially after the shit Trixie did to her. Trixie didn't really deserve it that much. The only time she did was when she tried to help stop Estelle. But other than that complaint, I thought the series was alright and was pretty decent. Compared to a lot of audio dramas, this was like one nice piece of loaf bread compared to a lot of molten milk. Like, not really the best thing or really the thing you want to eat, but still, if you have to, it's alright. I really like Remembrance. Out of all the audio dramas, Remembrance is honestly one of my favorites. I think it is nicely really done. And even if the series doesn't continue on, I still think y'all should watch it. The story is really nicely done and explores how people grieve and how they process it, and doesn't really shame any of the characters for how they grieve, and just shows how complicated and how messy it is, and how grief and the loss of somebody affects people to varying degrees, and I think it's just nicely done. I love the voice acting in this. Compared to a lot of audio dramas, this one is probably my favorite to listen to. And I get why some of the audio dramas have really clunky audio, but it's just nice to hear one where the audio, for the most part, sounds pretty decent, and the acting is pretty spot on, not gonna lie. Like, there were many times I almost cried during this series because I genuinely felt the emotion of the characters because the acting was that good. I love the music in this. Like, the songs are very nicely done, especially Cadence's song. And like, the second or third episode is so fucking beautiful and one of my favorite songs I've ever fucking heard, honestly. I love the villain in this series. The fact that it just waited and manipulated Celestia to a point where they just broke her is just so fucking good. And finally, I love we got some gays in this shit. Like, the fact that there are so many audio dramas where there's just nothing but straight couples. So the fact we get to an audio drama where there's a possible gay romance and they're just very cute and healthy makes my gay heart happy. So yeah, if you have time, check out Remembrance. It's really good, and while yes, it might have some problems, honestly, I just can't think of them right now. It's just genuinely an enjoyable series to watch, and I would just really recommend it.